game. I got that game, same place. Most of these games came from the same dealer and the same guy because he basically has a huge selection of games. But you can tell, you just type in $3, you type in $2 games, $2 to $10, and you'll get tons of systems up there. Bad Dudes, I remember playing that. I think I played that arcade. I think they had a Bad Dudes arcade, I can't remember, but I remember playing that at my cousin's house. He had Bad Dudes, that where you fight the ninjas and you try to save the president. Awesome game there. I mean, the premise of all those games. And then, just to have it, as it's probably not a great game at all, but baseball. It's like all the other sports games. Not all games are great and everything like that. But then we have Rocket Ranger game. The Rocket Ranger game. Haven't played that one yet, but I've got so many I haven't played yet. Then we have here Bart Simpson. We have The Simpsons, Bart versus the Space Mutants. Another one of those Simpson games that came out back in the day. Pretty cool stuff to have. I mean, they made games all the time and everything. Then we have Karate Champ. Used to play that at my cousin's. My cousin had that game back in the day. Only about a $5 game when I bought it a couple years ago. But, you know, it's like these games are not really great. It was really not that great of a game. It was basically choppy. Guy would go back and forth after you'd win. He'd go bump, bump, bump. He'd move back and forth and go point, dot, 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 point, dot, 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 point. And when you got, I guess you got like 3 points, you won. Or something like that, and you went to the next level, and you had to fight him again. And a lot of times you missed the guy. It was just really choppy and everything, just not a great game. Here's a game that I wanted to have, Championship Bowling. I love bowling games. You can play up to 4 players on this. This is just awesome to have. From Romstar. I just love certain sports games, certain games like chess, battle chess. I played that. Not on one of these systems, but on the computer. I played I have the Star Wars version of battle chess, like a battle chess type game. And then here, I tried to do this. This is a Million Secret Castle, I guess. Tried to play this once and everything, and you know, I don't remember where I got it. Probably the same guy I got everything else from on eBay there. So, or his store. But yeah, that's that game just to have it. You know, it's not an expensive game, but it's not like it's under $10, you know. Most of these games were under $10 to buy. I don't really try to buy anything that's way over unless I really want it. Like Castle Quest here wasn't a big game. It's a knights and that kind of swashbuckling kind of game. So as you can see, you know, like Knight's Quest, Goonies 2. I don't know whatever happened to Goonies 1, but I guess they made a Goonies 2 game based on the movie and everything. So you just do different things like in the movie. So try to do whatever. Here's one of my favorite games of all time, Dick Tracy and everything. One of my favorite movies too, franchise. Which I wish they made a franchise out of it and would have done some more movies. But, you know, they killed off everybody in the whole thing. You could have had multiple movies of Dick Tracy if you wanted, or made up new villains. You could have made up new villains over the years, or took the other villains that weren't used in the movie. And I would wish that they would do a reboot. I really do. With the Warren Beatty version was decent, but I loved it. But it was just one of those things where a lot of people are like, yeah, it's decent, but for the time of 1990, you know, for 90, it wasn't like Batman, you know, like Batman came out in 89, it was like, ooh, that's great. And you get this, I'd love to see Tim Burton get a hold of Dick Tracy, but, you know, then we'd have Johnny Depp as Dick Tracy, if that happens, and I don't think that'll happen, or Michael Keaton. I don't want to see those two guys playing Dick Tracy. I want to see somebody different play Tracy, and not these guys that would just be so wimpy just him get a hold of it and just do a franchise out of it, do a couple of movies out of it, you know. Even if he just does that in a sequel, if it does well enough to do a sequel. I ended up getting this because it was part of a lot. Tiger Heli, haven't played it yet. It looks like a military helicopter game type thing. So it looks like you fly the helicopter around and shoot different things and do different things in it. So I don't know much about it. I just know it came in with this. One other game, I don't remember what the other game was, but they came with this one. This is the game that I was actually wanting. Monsters in My Pocket. If you all remember the toys, they had a limited 4-run comic book series that came out. I think it was with Marvel, if I'm not mistaken. I think it was Marvel or somebody else. I got 2 issues of it, but I want to get the rest of it. But it's from Konami. Konami does awesome games. Most of the LGN stuff, a lot of people are like, oh, it's not really great, you know, unless you play like the Punisher game, but that's that. I got John Elway's quarterback here. I know most people, I always thought it was called John Elway's Quarterback Challenge, but I guess the thing says on here it's John Elway's quarterback. So maybe I just didn't know, but that's that one. And everything. Here's Fester's Quest, Addams Family game. You can see footage of that online from other people, but Angry Video Game Nerd did one. But that's basically Fester going around. You're playing as Fester. This is the one that everybody wants the sequel to, Chip 'n Dale's Rescue Rangers 2. This is the first one. This is the first one here from Capcom. I want to get the second one, but it's like way, way, way overpriced. Same thing with DuckTales 2. Way overpriced. I've seen it. DuckTales 2 is going for about $130. I think at a convention a couple years, like 2 years ago. I wasn't doing that. I wasn't paying that. I was like, screw that. There's a shooter game. Real cool shooter game called Gumshoe. Basically, you're like a detective. And you have to shoot different things. Pretty cool game. Here's Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. Basically, it's sort of like the Last Crusade. You do different things. I mean, I play the Last Crusade on another system. But this is pretty cool. You play as Indiana Jones and you go around doing stuff like in the movie. Here's an extra copy we have of Wheel of Fortune. My wife has another one. This is her old copy. It doesn't really work as well. There's some issues with it, so we ended up buying a new one, but it's the family edition of this. So, you all know Wheel of Fortune if you've seen the TV show. Here's Kung Fu. If you're into Kung Fu, this is one of the original games that was on there. I think it comes in I think they call it like the black card. I think there's games that came in black card, but I guess they did release them in gray. So I guess if you don't know that. And then here's another shooter game, Hogan's Alley. I think I played this on the Sega Master System, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know how good it's going to be on a rig, because a lot of people say that the gun does not work on a modern TV. So I don't know how that works. But if it's on a Retro 3, I don't know if you plug the gun into the Retro 3, it'll work. I don't know, but my wife's got a bunch of guns for the NES that we could try to use. I mean, some of them don't work at all very well. Here's one of my favorite movies of all time, Who Framed Roger Rabbit. I love the game. Don't really get very far, but you play as Roger Rabbit. You play as the guy trying to find Roger Rabbit, I guess. You play as Bob Hopkins' character in the movie. And then you run around trying to do that. So, before he went crazy and poo-pooed the movie and all that kind of stuff, Hopkins, you know, God rest his soul, he's no longer with us. But here's the game. You all know this. You have to get to the final, I forget how many levels are in this, Ghostbusters 2, based on the Ghostbusters 2 movie. Then you know about Ghostbusters 1. The best one ever, the best Ghostbuster game ever was put on, and I know a lot of people have said this on Sega. Sega had the best version of this of all time. Then we have ice hockey here. If you're into ice hockey, that's what we got here. Double Dribble, another basketball type game here. Guy that looks like Larry Bird there. Looks like it's trying to be Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, Dr. J. Guys like that. I think they're trying to make them look generic, but that's what I think that they're trying to make the concept of. Here's Rambo. I used to play this game on the Sega. Used to play this on Sega. Used to rent it, play it. Really cool game based on the movie. You just go around trying to clear levels, shoot up people, try to get the objective done, try to save people. You're stuck in Korea, wherever he is over there in Asia. I think it's Vietnam or Korea or wherever. But here's Time Lords. Don't know much about this game. I know I picked it up from a while back. I think I showed it off a while ago when I picked it up, but that's that. Then we have Days of Thunder, another racing type game based on the movie, a Paramount movie with Tom Cruise and Michael Rooker and Duvall, David Duvall. You know, Robert Duvall, not David Duvall, he's a golfer. Robert Duvall in that. So, and then John C. Reilly was in it. That's where Michelle, who wasn't? Not Michelle. What was her name? Oh, whatever. The girl that he and I can't remember now. It just slipped my mind who he was married to. Who he ended up marrying because he met her on Far and Away. And then I think she did this movie with him before they ended up getting married. She's married. She was in Batman. Oh, not Kim Basinger. The one that was in Batman 3 with him. Oh, whatever her name is. I can't think of it right now, but I gotta keep moving on. I'll figure it out later. It'll probably pop into my head. Here is Michael Andretti's World Grand Prix, complete in box. That the box is not in the greatest shape, but to have this complete in box is awesome. Because I remember watching his dad, Mario Andretti, race. I used to be not a real big NASCAR fan back in the day, but I was more of an open wheel IndyCar kind of guy. And I remember him racing for Kmart, his dad, Mario Andretti, Al Unser Jr., AJ Foyt. I remember his team, and Newman Haas, when you had Haas and him, and now you got Haas being part owner in with Tony Stewart. In that, and I think some other people own some teams. So yeah, and Paul Newman, and watching Nigel Mansell and Christian, their son, watching Michael Andretti's son, watching his brother John. I mean, just watching all those old IndyCar guys back in the. I was really into that in the late '80s, early '90s. Really into watching that stuff. I think I watched it. I think I probably watched IndyCar more than anything because I moved here in 2001, and I remember watching the Indianapolis 500 almost every year, or reading about it every year from like 1980. I'd say probably around 87. To about 2000, I think. So basically for about 13 years, I've watched it consistently and everything. And I moved here in 2001 up this way. So that's that one. We'll get the rest of this real quick. We have Punch-Out. As you can see, I'll show you the box art on the cover. You can see that's just, they lost the licensing, so they couldn't use Mike Tyson's Punch-Out at the time. Everybody thought, oh, you lost, you got rid of it because of him going to jail and all that. And it wasn't that. It was they lost the licensing right before he went to jail. The licensing for 3 years ran out. The licensing ran out, and they just didn't renew it due to the fact that he went to jail. They didn't renew it after that. right before that it had gone out, and they just decided not to renew it, so they just called it Punch-Out. You fight Mr. Hippo and a bunch of other guys. Watch Maverick Freelance. I think he might still have the Punch-Out game up on his channel there where he played, or he might have deleted that one. I don't know if he still does have that video up. But here's one based on the TV show, Airwolf. I love that show. I actually got the DVD set of it here somewhere. Got it pretty cheap on eBay. Not eBay. I got it on Amazon. I think that one came from Amazon. It was either Amazon or Best Buy, one of the two. Usually where DVDs come from. And that CDs do a little different. But this game here was pretty cool to have. I saw that. I wanted to have it. That might have been one of the other ones. But here's one that I always liked. The original Popeye. A arcade classic series. This would be probably one of our Dowdy's favorites. Rob, if you watch this would probably be one of your favorite games here, Popeye, because I know you like to collect Popeye stuff. So, and then we have a game called Deadly Towers. Another one of those silly things. I don't know if it's part of like the Deadly Towers book series. Or I think that's called Dark Towers, but Deadly Towers, I don't know if it has anything to do with anything other than being not a great game from what I understand. And then we have here the last of the bunch here, the Birthday Blowout, Bugs Bunny's Birthday Blowout. Played this at my cousin's house. I don't think I've ever got to the end of it. I think we played it. We just keep playing and playing and playing. I don't know when it ends. You just keep going from level to level, and then you have to fight the different characters, the different Bugs Bunny characters at the end from Looney Tunes and all that, Merry Melodies and all that. You have to fight them at the end. Here's one of the games that everybody hates, Jaws. You have to, like, you're in a ship. You have to go around. Then you have to dive in and then try to shoot him when the shark comes and that. A lot of people don't like that game. I know the Angry Video Game Nerd hates it. It's just really not a great thing. Here, another copy of the Championship Bowling that I got. I don't know why I got an extra copy. I think I ended up buying it by mistake at one point. I think my wife got it for me, and then I ended up buying it by mistake. I think she got it, and then I got it for some reason. And I forgot I had it, that she had gotten it for me when we moved here. So she had gotten it for me a couple years back. And then here is a game that most of you probably won't know. It's from a company out in California made this. It's called Castlevania: The Holy Relics. It was done on, I believe, either channel talked about it. It was a Kickstarter or a game that they had done to get off the ground. They had changed some stuff to one of the Castlevania games and fixed it up and turned it into this. It's like 5 levels. You can do anything with it. I believe I saw it either on the Immortal John Hancock's YouTube page or John Riggs. So look either one of those guys up, find it. They should have the video up there about it and a place where you can buy it. It's not very much. It's probably like $30 maybe, if that, and everything. So that was pretty cool to have. May not even be worth that much, but then probably one of the better games, which everybody probably knows, Joel Hopkins, the Last Gamer, loves this series of Gradius. He loves the soundtrack and everything, so I saw him talk about it and how much he loved it. Saw a little bit of footage of it, and I was like, I gotta have it. So I've seen Send the Massacre Mike play it when he was doing his playthroughs series, where he'd do live playthroughs, or he would tape them and play them and to show off the game or whatever. He did a couple, I think he did Gradius 5, I think is what he did. But anyhow, that's it for that part of it. I'll let you guys go. It's been running almost an hour, so I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.